Welcome to Synthaholic Games. This is your host, David Duncan, and with me is not B-Leg.
No. That's a deep cut. Hi, this is Brian, and we talk about video games sometimes.
We do talk about video games sometimes, Brian, and it's another
How's
week.
video games doing, David?
Video games is still in the hospital, feeling very sick lately.
Oh no, still?
I mean, it might be a couple of years before it recovers. It's a very very bad illness video games has right now, unfortunately.
Damn.
So going with
Well, we got some things to talk about.
Yeah, going with what my background is, Horizon is unfortunately getting a good old remaster, a brand new game. Not brand. I mean, the game's not that old. Sony loves remastering not old games to make.
Well, they're doing it.
Money.
They're probably doing. Well, one, I don't know. Well, the only reason they're doing it is because Horizon Zero Dawn was the best selling game. I don't know if it was for PS4 or what. No, I think it was sold the most units of PS4. So that's probably why they're remastering it, so they can try to cash in on some money again. But it definitely doesn't need to be remastered. It's not that old, and it doesn't need to be played on the PS5 Pro either, because it already looks good enough on the PS5 normally. Nobody has an 8K television that, I mean, maybe if you're a billionaire you'll notice. I don't even think a billionaire will notice. Never mind. I take that back. Nobody's noticing the difference.
Yeah, I mean, like, the screenshots they've shown, like, they're moderate differences, but I mean, like, it's, I don't know.
Well, Horizon Zero Dawn already looks good. I mean, I will say. Good.
I mean, the only thing I think Horizon needs, the first one, is maybe to do like a quick, probably not quick, but like to redo like all the conversations and make them a little bit less robot-y, because like you could kind of tell they were kind of like done quickly or just not done all that well, but. And Horizon Forbidden West fixed that a lot. Like the conversations felt a lot more natural, like the head and face movement, and like the conversations looked a lot more dynamic, which was good. That was the only part that really bothered me about the first Horizon. And them just doing a slight graphical overhaul is not going to fix that core animation issue where I thought the first one lacked.
Yeah,
and that was the only place I really thought it lacked.
It's more an animation issue rather than like, the asset being poor quality or something.
Yeah, it was
because the game looks super good. Like we were just talking about Rings of Power. This is one of the best looking video games out there.
Yeah, so another thing about the remaster it sucks is that they're delisting the original game on the PlayStation Store and on Steam, and you cannot get the original version of the game anymore, which is pretty terrible. Like, I wouldn't be upset about a remaster. I mean, I don't think it's needed, but the remaster upsets me because they're taking away the original. Like, give me a choice. I want to be able to have, pick up either one. Like, delisting games doesn't feel great. And I'm not a fan of them doing that kind of crap. So
I hear you. I'm on board. I don't think you need a PS5 Pro or a remaster.
and freaking Sony keeps doubling down on this PSN requirement. I know, Brian, you mentioned before you don't think it's a big deal, but the PSN requirement, Sony's more interested in harvesting our information. For whatever reason, that's more valuable to them than selling the game in more territories. Because at least on PC, there's over 100 countries that can't buy game. That's a big reason why the PSN thing is a problem, is because people can't buy the game because they can't have a PSN account to sign in with. People buy PlayStations and then they sign up with in a different country, but when you do it through Steam doesn't let you do that as easily, because Steam, I guess Steam has like a country check.
I'm not sure. I don't know exactly how it works.
I don't know either.
I know, like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me.
I know it's a problem, and I don't want to sign into PSN every single time I get a PlayStation game. That's annoying.
No, I'd rather have PSN not be there, but I don't like the argument that it doesn't, like, it shouldn't be there in the first place. But Steam does tell you if you have to. It's on the store page if you have to do it or not. So I don't like it when people act like surprised when they're like, I shouldn't have to do this. So it's like, well, before you bought the game, it said you had to. So don't buy the game then.
Sure, but I mean, I wish you didn't have to, and
Oh, 100%. I thousand percent.
it's
I don't want my information going. I don't want my information going out to anybody. But I agree with you. I don't
it's
think it should be necessary.
it's absolutely garbage that they're doing that. And kind of on the same topic of ownership and cause since we're talking about how like the original game is going away, you can no longer own it, or unless you find a physical copy of it. Steam is letting us know on the store page that you don't own what you buy from Steam because you just get a
Yes.
license, which isn't anything new. That's basically how it's always been. But that like extra verbiage that makes it even more clear just doesn't feel great.
No, it doesn't feel good. I mean, we'll call out any if Steam does something stupid, we'll call it out. But this is for as long as you buy. I mean, even if you, I'm not even sure if you buy. This is how it's always been. This is not new information. You're buying a license for the game. You don't own the game. But I'm not even sure if buying a physical copy, if you can play, if you'd be able to. I think that might be a license as well. I think they could still technically revoke the license from you. You still don't own the game. You have it physically, but I think they could still take it away if they really wanted to.
Yeah, they
Again, if it's an offline game though, they can't do anything unless they came to your house and took it from you. But I think it's the same thing even if you physically own it.
Technically, yes. The physical disc is still just a license. It's just how you have access to the license. It is.
Yeah,
It's always technically a license.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's bound to if you have hardware or whether or not you can run it, which is why I prefer Steam, because Steam's been around since Half-Life 2, since a little bit before Half-Life 2, and I've carried my library with me from then till now, and I like that it's always with me, and whatever PC I buy in the future, my Steam comes with me, and I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks that you can't transfer ownership or licenseship to somebody else.
Well, I mean, as long as you don't tell anybody, as long as you don't tell Steam, it'll be fine.
yeah. I mean, technically you could. You can just give someone else your password.
There's no way for Steam to really know.
Yeah, there's no way for you to do it in case do it on its own. You'd have to just give your stuff to somebody else, and they'd have to take that with them.
Yeah. You got to put it in your will.
Yeah. My Steam account goes to.
Well, I mean I think that'll probably be a thing when people people will have their Steam library. There'll be tens of thousands of dollars worth of games in their Steam library, and it'll just go to the ether. If once you die, you might as well put in your will with your MFA and your username and password.
Yeah, do it.
Somebody can take it. I don't care who has it.
Yeah. Will it out to somebody. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's all just so we're saying it's always been this way. It's just Steam is making it more clear, and I'm sure people are mad at something for them making it more clear. But this is how it's always been. It's not new.
But I just thought the article was funny because it kind of related to the ownership. With the original Horizon just being gone. Poof. Yeah. You can't.
I mean, these transitions you have are top tier here.
and I also just thought it was funny because the title of the article is saying how GOG is like a purchase of a digital product on GOG grants you its offline installer, which cannot be taken away from you. Which I thought was kind of funny. I was like, yeah, stick it. The
problem is it's GOG.
Yeah. Well,
that's. I mean, I think GOG is a good thing. They do represent the gamer. But unfortunately, GOG has weird old games that really nobody wants. I would love to meet somebody that exclusively uses the GOG launcher because I don't think they exist. I don't think it might be an alien. If we find one if you use the GOG launcher exclusively, reach out to us because I don't believe you're a real person.
I mean, I use the GOG launcher. I had to use it for Cyberpunk because I think there was some kind of freebie.
But did you just buy it on you bought it on Steam, opened it on Steam, and then it opens the GOG launcher?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I bought TIE Fighter and X-Wing on GOG like back in the day.
No, there's games on there to play. It's just like if you go on there expecting, your AAA experience where by default all the games on PC go there, you will be disappointed because that's not how it works.
Oh, I mean, ironically, speaking of GOG, I actually opened it up today because Tomb Raider Legends. If you have Amazon Prime during the month of October, you can get there's several other games on there, but Tomb Raider Legends was on there from I think 1996 or something like that. So or 2006.
Gotta pick it up. Gotta pick up those classics. And now you own that because they can't take it away from you.
They can't take it away from me. So GOG was timely today. I actually opened it up, which doesn't happen very often, but I did open up GOG today. So
I did not. I don't have it installed. I don't think.
All right, and then here's our article from Brian. Brian let me know that players are now less accepting that games will be fixed, says Paradox, after underestimating the reaction to City Skylines performance was.
Let me cook with this one. So, City Skylines 1 came out. David, you and I both liked that game, and we played the game, and we enjoyed the game.
City Skylines 1. I was so excited for City Skylines 2 3 years ago before it came out.
Yeah, and then it came out, and it was not good. Performance issues, bugs, crashes, not very good experience. It's been in that state for like 2 years. No, a year and a half, a year. I don't know.
The game came out a little over a while. I feel like the game came out about a year ago, so it's been rough for a year.
And it's still, to my knowledge, according to this, to my knowledge, and this article reinforcing my knowledge, that the game is still a mess and it's a performance issue disaster. And now I don't care if it gets fixed or not. I know you and I just talked about this just before we started this today, but I don't care even if the game gets fixed. I'm now dying on the hill of I'm not buying this game because Paradox messed up big time and they don't care. I mean, I'm sure they do care because now they're losing money, but they're getting hate deserved.
City Skylines 2 is still mixed on Steam. Like mixed. And the thing that blew me away was that people were rating this game with really low scores, but the way they spoke about the game in the reviews made it sound like it wasn't that bad, which was like, it was jarring, the juxtaposition.
Well, it's probably like the gameplay, if it was working, probably is good, but the problem is it doesn't work.
I mean, I might get the game in the future. Like once it's on a Humble Bundle and it comes with like 16 of its expansions, I'll probably buy it then because by then the game will probably be fixed. But I had this on my wish list. It's still technically on my wish list, and I've been waiting for those review scores to flip to like mostly positive, and it's been a year, so I'm not expecting this game to be good in like until like many DLCs are out, and I'm just waiting for a Humble Bundle.
Why is Paradox surprised about, like, they're like, why they're less accepting that the game is complete? It's like you put the game out, whether it launched in early access or not, I don't remember. But like
it did not launch. It should have launched in early access. That way they could have covered their ass.
The game's not complete. Can you imagine going to like the movies? You go see what's a big movie? The Deadpool movie come out, and like half the VFX shots just aren't done. It's like. I don't understand what developers are expecting when they just launch a game that's just not done yet.
That's just
it doesn't make any sense. But again, they're probably doing it for investors, and the investors are like, "This has to be out by this date so we can hit this, quarterly goal or whatever." But that just ends up killing the company.
Yeah, they lost. I'm sure they lost money.
They lost me
by word of mouth of people saying the game wasn't good, bad review scores. Like, how did they think this was going to review well?
I'm sure they knew it wasn't going to.
I just don't understand how they don't push back and be like, yeah, the game's not done. We're gonna get slammed in bad reviews. I mean,
yeah, but then the investors will just take money away. They just won't give them money then. It's like they can't win.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, we know we won't sell as many copies now because word of mouth will come. It's just the fact that they say they don't understand. It's just more like every single week. We do this, like, which is every other week, but every single time we sit down talking, we are always like, companies are so out of touch with reality. Like Microsoft, Sony, Paradox, Blizzard, Ubisoft.
Yeah, the big ones, the big ones are pretty much gone. They don't really understand what a consumer wants anymore, especially when the Ubisoft's guy saying you got to get used to like. What do you say? They got to get used to like not owning
your games.
You got to pay a subscription.
Yeah, this subscription. Oh man,
which we already talked about that not owning. We already know we don't own our games. It's a license.
But
they're pushing a subscription service.
But not even having your own games on your hardware. That's not for me.
That's probably
I'm never gonna do a subscription unless it's the only way I can play a game. But like
that's probably where we're
probably will resist that as long as possible. I don't
know if that would be a thing because then you'd have to get all the games into one place, and I don't know if that's possible because there's no way I'm paying for like a. I mean, this is probably
I don't think it's going to happen because of
for
Steam. I think as long as Steam exists, we'll still have games you can download on our computer. Because if there's some online subscription model comes out and says you have to like subscribe to the streaming service, that's in competition with Steam.
Yep.
So as long as Steam is around, we're safe. As soon as Steam dies, then we're in trouble. Because I mean, like
unless Steam starts charging a subscription fee.
I hope not. Oh my god. Nightmare scenario. I don't want to talk about it. Go away.
I mean, they could have already. Xbox and PlayStation both have a monthly fee. So does Nintendo. They all have a monthly fee. PC still does not. Hopefully that doesn't change.
PC Master.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it should change because when you're playing on like PlayStation or something, you're connecting to PSN. You're not connecting to like when we open a game on Steam, we're connecting to, one developer servers to another developer servers from game to game. It's not all the same, which it is on PlayStation. So I don't know.
But on PC, there's Xbox Game Pass, which is a subscription, and there's Ubisoft Plus, which is a subscription.
But their games end up coming to Steam anyways because nobody does it.
Ubisoft is in trouble. Like that's an article I should have sold up because they're have options open for selling the company because they're. I think they're about
they've been trying to sell for. I think I remember seeing articles of them trying to find a buyer for a couple years at this point. Now they've been trying to get rid of them for a while.
Who wants to buy a garbage company?
Well, you would buy. I mean, hopefully somebody would buy it for the name, and then they would have to, rebrand the whole company, saying we're going back to our roots or whatever. But I don't know if anybody's willing to take that risk.
All Raymond all the time, but going back to our roots. Forget Assassin's Creed. We're doing Raymond Creed.
Raymond Creed. He's a DLC character coming back. Oh boy. So yeah. What else we got, David? I think we got one more.
We got one more interesting thing to look at. So Blizzard apparently had a StarCraft, Overwatch, and Diablo adaptations in development. Then it sued Netflix, and Netflix is like, "Yeah, we're canceling all this stuff."
What a while! Like that. I mean, that it's coming out now because this was happening during Bobby. Was it Kodak's run? So during his run, they were working on developing adaptations for those IPs, and then they got mad at Netflix, and then Netflix was like, "All right, screw you, later," and then they stopped working on them. Which I don't know if they should even make like a StarCraft, Overwatch, or Diablo show in the first place. I feel like there's not much more. There's not much. I don't want to watch it. Actually, I don't know. That's not entirely true.
I would like to watch a StarCraft show.
Overwatch did have cool lore.
I mean,
they never expanded on it.
I mean, any of it could be cool. I mean, I'd be down to see any of those. I mean, granted, I don't think they would necessarily be good, but I mean, I would, give it a shot.
It would be hard to make. I mean, the first one I thought of was Diablo. I think it'd be hard to make a Diablo one. Diablo is kind of just like, you're just fighting hordes of stuff until like you get to a main boss.
StarCraft and Overwatch have more of what they could do because there's like a story more to them.
Yeah, there's a little bit more of a story. I mean, there's a story for Diablo too, but like how the story works in Diablo is not really story-y.
Yeah, it's the lightest of the three as far as story goes. I mean, StarCraft is really just, Warhammer. Because they couldn't get access to because actually Blizzard wanted to make Warhammer and Warhammer 40K.
Oh man, that's like 25 years ago. They wanted that. Didn't they want that in the late 90s or something?
They wanted that, but since they couldn't get the rights to it, they just made Warcraft, which is their answer to Warhammer, and then they made StarCraft, which is their answer to Warhammer 40K. Yep. So basically, like, originally Blizzard wanted to do licensed Warhammer games, and then Warhammer said no. Yeah, and so they made their own. Which I mean, like the Space Marines look a lot like the Space Marines, and
well, I mean, there's some closely related things, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different. The lore is completely different. All the Terrans and the StarCraft world,
they look the same.
Yeah, their armor is the same. The Zerg are basically the Tyranids. It's great.
Yeah,
fun stuff.
Well, David, in closing here. I want to let's make a prediction. We're doing something crazy
Ooh.
here. We're doing something crazy. We're about 2 months away from the Game Awards. Most of the games have come out for that would be considered for the Game of the Year.
Okay.
What do you think is going to win Game of the Year right now? I personally think it's going to be Final Fantasy. That's what I think's going to win. I haven't played the game, but I just feel like that. I feel like that's the big game of the year was Final Fantasy. What do you think is going to win? Whether or not Final Fantasy deserves it is a whole other argument, but that's what I think will win.
I don't know. Honestly,
I know you say it's Stellar Blade, but there's just no way that's going to win.
Personally, I want Stellar Blade to win Game of the Year. It was
a great game. It's not Game of the Year winner good though.
It was my favorite game that I played this year.
Yeah.
But I think Stellar Blade's gonna get Hogwarts Legacy, where they just no one's gonna talk about it. It's not even gonna get nominated. It's like gonna be like the game didn't exist. Just
That's most likely what will happen. I would like if it got a nod though.
I would
let it get something.
I would love for it to be nominated. Like
maybe if it doesn't win Game of the Year, it can win art direction or something.
Or score, because the music in the game is
score was
phenomenal.
great. Score was great.
But also the score is great in Final Fantasy VII.
That is also true.
And
then there's Yakuza.
Yakuza.
Or
I haven't. Yeah, Infinite Wealth. I've heard that was really good. I haven't gotten to play it yet.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, that's there.
I mean, it's a potential contender, but I feel like no one talked about that game. I mean, it reviewed well, but then like the discourse stopped like almost immediately.
Well, I think it came out the same time that Elden Ring DLC came out, and that Elden Ring will kill anything it talks.
No, Elden Ring DLC came out recently. Infinite Wealth came out in January.
I think the Elden Ring DLC came out earlier this year too. Let's look. We're doing it live.
Doing it live. I don't think the Elden Ring DLC came out in January.
Oh no, it came out in June.
Yeah, Elden Ring.
I thought it came out in like March or something.
Yeah, Elden Ring came out this summer. So the discourse around Infinite Wealth, I don't see people talking about it. So I don't see that winning. Black Myth Wukong.
That's not gonna win. I can see it nominated. I don't think it's not gonna win.
I don't think it's gonna win either, because it's also facing the same like media journalist.
Yeah, it's got that media problem.
It's got the backlash where it's not inclusive.
It's controversial if it wins.
It's controversial. Just like Stellar Blade's too controversial because Eve looks pretty instead of like a dude from Concord. But
well, Concord's not going to win either, so we're safe with that.
Actually, Concord could win Game of the Year. It'll just
Concord's not winning.
Hopefully, it wins shortest lived game. There'll be a new.
I mean, there's that Atlas game that for the Persona thing that has super high ratings and people really loved Persona, so that might do something. That Nintendo game, what is it? There's some Mario. No, the Zelda game. Nintendo has some big game coming out. Or if it's already came out, that could be nominated. I don't know. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I'm probably missing stuff, but I think Final Fantasy. We'll see. We got 2 months. Probably. I'm only bringing it up now because I think the nominations and stuff are going to be coming out soon. So I wanted to get ahead of it.
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to see what actually does end up getting nominated and coming out. But I mean, Final Fantasy could. The discourse around it was more positive in general.
More positive than negative, and it's a safer game. It's not going the Stellar Blade route where it's like let's make a that kind of character. There's always going to be problems if you make a character like that.
I mean, there's Tifa, but I mean, like she's basically
that's not exactly. It's not a 1-to-1 thing.
No.
Tifa doesn't. It is true that Tifa does wear skimpy clothing. But she's not the like main character.
But also, they did redo her costume to make her cover it up more than she did in the original. So there's that too.
Well, they did that in Stellar Blade too, or they brought it back. They walked it back. I don't remember what happened.
They released censored outfits, and then they released extra outfits that are the uncensored version, but in a different color. So I mean, like whatever. I
don't know whatever.
They also added improved jiggle physics in update like 1.07 or something.
How did they add? How would you make it improved?
Because they respond.
It's just more jiggle. How much? What could there be?
Well,
it's just more jiggle.
Well, no, they added collisions so that when her arm pushes on them, they like squeeze together and they don't clip. They
Oh,
don't clip
okay.
through. So they added collision as a
Well,
bonus. Jiggle, so
they're speaking to the gamer, man.
they're making the technology better. It's
They're making it
fantastic.
better.
This is what everyone needs. They need to add that to Final Fantasy VII.
Where did Jiggle physics start? Was it Resident Evil?
Dead or Alive was like some of the was
Was it
pretty
Dead or Alive?
early. I mean, because Dead or Alive 1 on PlayStation 1, the option was jiggle physics on, jiggle physics off. If it was off, they were rock hard. If they were like on, the boobs like were like smacked them in the face. It was the funniest thing in Dead or Alive 1.
Let's see here. We're doing another thing live before we close this down.
First game with jiggle physics. I don't know. Cindy had jiggle physics in Final
Fatal
Fantasy
Fury
15.
2 from 1992 is the
Ooh.
first game that had jiggle physics.
Fatal Fury.
Yep, they started
I
it.
salute you, Fatal
Who
Fury.
salute you? Oh man.
All
Well,
right.
that's our games. Not a crazy 2 weeks of games. There's games that are coming out, but neither one of us are super into them. I'm gonna keep my eye on the Atlas game, see how that does. Maybe I'll try it one day. Other than that, that's not really that's all I can think of that I cared about. And we only talk about things we care about, not things that are happening.
Yeah, Satisfactory. I'm still neck deep in that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
loving
you've been singing the
that.
praises of Satisfactory for years.
Satisfactory. Preach it.
Maybe that'll win Game of the Year.
Oh, I will actually. Yeah, I have to say, I hope Satisfactory wins. It's not going to, but I would love to see it. I would love to see it nominated for something because it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, maybe they'll do Best Factory Game this year. It'll be a new category, and it'll be the only thing nominated.
It'll be the only thing in its category. Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
Yes.
email David at synthaholics@yahoo.com. I've been Brian this time. If you watched our Rings of Power podcast that's coming out in a week's time,
Yeah.
I'll be somebody different.
Yeah, it's true. Brian's a completely different person on that. So you should check out Rings of Power Season 2 review coming next week. Anyway, guys, I've been David, and we'll catch you next time on Synthaholic Games.
Bye.